Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Buys Comic Books. I picked up a few books from eBay. I picked up a few books at a flea market, and one of them I got from my daughter. So I don't need Web of Spider-Man Annual #2 for my collection. However, there was a person on eBay selling it along with Web of Spider-Man #3 and Avengers 187 and 173, and he didn't want very much money for the auction. The four of them. I think what happened was I saved it in my watch list on eBay, and whenever that happens, a lot of times you'll get an offer from the seller of a little discount on the price, and sometimes you can send a counter offer. And I think I sent him he sent me an offer of a discount, and then I sent a counter offer which is even a little lower, and he accepted it. So now these books would probably be in perfect shape, except for it looks like, one of those people had them that has no problem like folding them over to look and see what book is behind it. You know what I mean? I would always cringe at the comic shop or whatever when somebody would come in who is a noob to the comic book gig, and they would just fold it over to see what was behind. They fold the comic book over to see what comic book was behind it, and it makes me cringe. But it kind of looks like maybe these books are in really nice shape, except for some like spine ticks. But look at the pages are nice and white. This comic isn't super key or expensive, I don't think, but this is a favorite of mine. You've got a Charles Vess cover. It's an annual. It's a direct edition. So you've got the M for Marvel. That means it was sold from a comic shop instead of on the newsstand. Now you have Ann Nocenti writing and Arthur Adams doing art. Arthur Adams is one of my favorites. And so have him draw Spider-Man and the New Mutants and monsters. I mean, that's what you want from Arthur Adams, right? I love his artwork. And if that wasn't enough, there's a backup story, also written by Ann Nocenti, but drawn by Mike Mignola. How can you go wrong there? Mike Mignola drawing Spider-Man, Hobgoblin, Black Cat. I love this early Mike Mignola artwork before his style kind of changed when he did Hellboy. His artwork at this time was just fantastic. I always love that Yamaha ad for keyboards, but the guy's got a motorcycle helmet on. The New Universe. Yeah, and Web of Spider-Man #3. Again, it's in nice shape, but it looks like some dummy folded it over. Great John Byrne cover. This book is nostalgic for me. I remember buying this when we were on a family vacation. I picked this up, I don't know, some night before we went to a hotel for wherever we were on vacation at. I picked this up and I took it back to the hotel and read it. So flipping through this is just like going back to 1985 for me. It's probably been that long since I've read it. It's a really good Vulture story with these guys that mimic the Vulture's suit, his wings and whatnot. But this is a really good story. Fondly remembered. Greg LaRocque art. He's someone you don't see much of, but he did a really good job for a short time back in the 80s on Spider-Man and a couple other titles. I always love this ad. That's an awesome drawing of Moon Knight. And this Fists of Khonshu series, it was only four issues long, I think, or maybe 6 issues before it was over. I have it. That's a really good one. That's a good series. But yeah, there's that. And these 2 issues of the Avengers. A John Byrne one. Look at the credits. Look at the credits here. You've got Mark Gruenwald and Stephen Grant plot, written by David Michelinie. John Byrne pencils, Dan Green inks. Roger Stern is the editor, Jim Shooter editor-in-chief, and Jim Novak and George Russo, of course, no slouches. But man, what a lineup of talent. And this is just classic Avengers stuff. And look, here's Modred the Mystic. Modred's in this. I did a video on him a few old nerd videos back. I have a couple of his original appearances. This is good stuff right here. This is the first time the Scarlet Witch went bad. Kind of the basis for a lot of the stuff that happened in the recent Disney Plus show. And then this one, it's got a George Perez cover. The lineup on this is pretty impressive as well. You got Jim Shooter, who's came up with a story. He's also the editor-in-chief. David Michelinie wrote it. Sal Buscema did the layouts. Roger Stern, editor. D. Hands, finisher. Like I cannot see Sal Buscema in any of this artwork. Whoever D. Hands was, which was probably several people who did the inking, he must have like just done some basic layouts or they really went over his pencils hardcore with the inks, because I cannot see Sal Buscema in any of this. Sal Buscema's got a pretty recognizable style. So whoever was inking this really ran right over Sal Buscema's style and added their own. But you can tell, like, from page to page, it's got different people inking it. You can tell. What is this? The Beatles. Marvel Super Special number 4. I don't remember that. The Ultimate Illustrated Beatles book. George Perez worked on it. That's interesting. Yeah, those 4 came from eBay, and for a real good price, and they're basically just backup issues for me. I have kind of like a secondary collection. I have my main collection that has everything that I want to read and that I want to keep and collect, and then I kind of have a secondary collection where if I find an older issue or an issue that I like or that I have fond memories of, I'll pick it up and just kind of add it to my second collection. I don't know if anybody else does that, but that's kind of what I've started doing. Fantastic Four Unlimited, number 2. I'm missing a couple issues of this, and I'm trying to put together a full run of it. So whenever I come across these in like the dollar bins, I grab them, because they're not really worth any money. And I don't know if they're any good or not, but I think they're written by, Roy Thomas wrote them. Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe is the artist. He was most famous for the Hulk. But this has definitely got a 90s style, though, even though it's Herb Trimpe, who was big in the 70s. He, whoever this inker is, this Steve Montano, he must have given it the 90s Image Comics style look that Marvel was trying to copy after everybody left Marvel and formed Image. Then Marvel kept trying to kind of have that same kind of art style to varying degrees of success. But yeah, I'm trying to put together a full run of this. I think I'm missing issue number 1, 4, and 5, and then I think I'll have them all. X-Men. Picked up a few issues of X-Men. I'm trying to put together a full run of that as well. Just to read it, basically. I don't know if after I read it if I'll keep them. Because after Chris Claremont left, even before Chris Claremont left the X-Men, I was kind of not enjoying it as much as I had when I was younger. But I'll put, like, you can get all these pretty cheap in the dollar bins. And I'm working on putting together a full run of this as well. X Factor. same thing. I'm missing a few issues here and there. And so when I come across them in the dollar bins, I grab them because they're not really worth a whole lot of money. Every once in a while, some issues of X Factor are, but not a lot. Annual number 2. I don't know why I would have gotten rid of this. I had this at one time. I don't know why I would have gotten rid of it. But I have it again. And last but not least is Barbie. You're going to fall, aren't you? Barbie. My daughter had this. I think I got this in a collection. And I gave it to my daughter. And we're moving right now. So she's going through all of her stuff. And she had a few comic books. She had a bunch of like free comic book day stuff and whatnot. And she had this in there, which I'd given to her because I didn't really care about it. And I figured maybe she'd dig it. But these Barbies are surprisingly worth a little bit of money. See, it's Amanda Conner. Amanda Conner did the cover art. And you can't really tell that's Amanda Conner, I guess, but she's pretty big time now. This would be before she made it big, though. But yeah, these are surprisingly worth a little bit of money. So I'll just stick this in the secondary collection box and see what happens. But it's not in great shape. But we'll see. But yeah, that's everything that I picked up on this latest round of comic roundup. So got any cool trivia about any of this, or want to talk about how you do your collections? Comment down below. I'd be curious to hear. And otherwise, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.